Hare Krishna. Somebody can please lead the invocation prayers.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can do.
Right.
Om Ajnanatimandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sanjeevam Sadavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Shri Lalita Shri Vishakam Sha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakti Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. So today we will cover Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 22, the whole chapter for up to verses 39. It's a straightforward, easy chapter. Before that, I will first answer the part inquiry from last class. Uncles had asked the inquiry about restrictions on marriage. So we will soon read from 3.21.28 that a Brahmana boy can marry a Kshatriya girl, but a Kshatriya boy cannot marry a Brahmin girl because Brahmana is higher than Kshatriya. Now, if a higher authority allows, then a Kshatriya boy can marry the Brahmin girl. And this is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. An example is there in later cantos that Sukracharya offered his daughter to Maharaj Yayati. But Yayati was a king. Hence, Yayati refused that I am a Kshatriya. I cannot marry daughter of a Brahmana. But Shukracharya insisted, hence based on the request of Sukracharya, based on the permission of a Brahmana, the Kshatriya can marry the Brahmana daughter. So we will go back and read 3.21.28. So chapter 21, verse 28, and it's the last paragraph, number 2. Shivangi, are you able to read? The paragraph starts. It is also significantly. Shalini?
Hare Krishna. It is also significantly noted here that Kardama Muni was a Brahmana, whereas Emperor Swayambhuva was a Kshatriya. Therefore, intercaste marriage was current even those days. The system was that a Brahmana could marry the daughter of a Kshatriya, but a Kshatriya could not marry the daughter of a Brahmana. We have evidences from history of the Vedic age that Shukracharya offered his daughter to Maharaja Yayati. But the king had to refuse to marry the daughter of a Brahmana only with the special permission. The king had to refuse to marry the daughter of a Brahmana Only with the special permission of a Brahmana could they marry. Intercaste marriage, therefore, was not prohibited in olden days, many millions of years ago, but there was a regular system of social behavior. But there was a regular system. Hare Krishna.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, Prabhuji. I had also requested you, Uma.
Oh, I forgot. I did not do any research. What was your inquiry exactly? If you want to repeat, please.
Is it Uma Maheshwar Lord Shiva, or Uma is somebody else? I wanted to learn from you.
No, Uma is definitely not Lord Shiva. So Uma will be is a female. She is definitely not Lord Shiva.
No, in South, you may be aware, they keep the Shiva's name as Uma Maheshwaran. Like that, they are keeping. That's why,
Okay,
because
so,
Shiva is half and Shakti is half. So I thought it is Shakti portion of it, people pray for it. That's it.
So, I mean, I don't know about South, but what you are describing doesn't make sense at all. Because Shiva is a Vaishnava, and the Shakti portion doesn't apply to Shiva. If at all, like Uma would be wife of somebody, but I don't know if she's wife of Shiva, and I did not research. Do you still want me to research? You are muted, Uncle. Do you still want me to research anything?
No, that's about all, Prabhuji. You have clarified. Thank you.
Okay, so let's begin with you all explaining one or more points and asking one or more questions.
Prabhuji, I will start. What general principle Srila Prabhupada brought from the examples of Kardama Muni and devotee having their respective desire fulfilled? And you had asked another question also. The first one, I am ready. As a Krishna conscious devotee, I'm sorry. If you pray, take shelter, and depend on his decision in every transaction, Lord awards benedictions accordingly to your desire as well as beyond your expectations. Lord wants to fulfill the desires of devotees unlimitedly. For Yoga Lakshana Devahuti, Lord awarded through her parents a husband with similar disposition, Kardama Muni, the Mahayogi. His desire was age, character, and good qualities. For Kardama Muni awarded the princess Devahuti of similar disposition of spiritual and material advancement. That is my realization, Prabhuji. Second one, if you would like me, I will read out.
Okay, very good. Let's somebody else speak.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I can try the second one, Prabhu. So you asked us to explain the analogy. Every candle has the full potential candle power, but there is still the distinction that one candle is the first, another the second, another the third, and so on. Similarly, there is no difference between the immediate expansion of the Lord and his secondary expansions. So the answer to this, what I've noted is, the Lord is one, but he divides himself into different expansions. One is called Kala and the other is Vibhinamsha. So we ordinary living entities are the Vibhinamsha expansions, and the unlimited expansions of Vishnu Tattvas are the Swamsha Kala expansions. Swamsha are the direct expansions, and Kala are the expansions from the expansions. So here, Lord Krishna expanded as Lord Baldev. He is the Swamsha expansion. And from Lord Baldev or Balram came the expansions of Sankarshan and so on. Similarly, one candle may light the second, and then with the second, the third, and so on. But every candle has the full candle power, but still there is a distinction that one candle is the first, the next one is the second, and so on. So since the Lord is absolute, his name, form, pastimes have the same potency. So chanting of the holy name of the Lord has the same potency as the Lord himself. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. Complete answer for that inquiry. Rest of you, any questions, comments, realizations?
Prabhuji, one more point I can add.
Yeah.
While worshipping the statue or a doll or in the temple, the Lord is Lord, always have the same potency. The worship remains different, but the potency is always the same. This is what one point you understood.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
Rest of you?
Prabhuji, nowadays if a Hindu marries a Hindu, we are feel happy, Prabhuji. But what is happening is Hindus marry Muslims or Christians also in our society in present days, Prabhuji.
Yeah, so we just read that intercaste marriage was existing before also. So these religions are man-made. There's really no meaning. So is that, Mother Jija, is that just a comment or you have any inquiry about that?
Prabhuji, this is happening very regularly here in Bangalore, Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay. Rest
It was
of you?
just a comment.
Yeah.
It was just a comment, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good. Everybody should have striking points from each class. So some of you already attend the other batches where you populate the striking points and inquiry on the Google form. No comments?
Prabhuji, may I add for the second question what I realized?
Yeah.
Lord's, sorry, Lord's name, form, pastimes, and qualities all have the same potency. There is no difference in potency. If we chant the name of the Lord and the form of the Lord in the temple, one gets the same results by worshipping the statue of the Lord or Lord himself. Both are same. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very good. Correct point. Okay. So let's continue with chapter 22. So a context or the recap of where we are is that Kardama Muni glorified Swayambhava Manu. And now Swayambhava Manu will glorify Kardama Muni because this is the nature of devotees. And then Swayambhava Manu will offer his daughter Devahuti to Kardama Muni in marriage. And Kardama Muni will place a condition for marriage that as soon as a son is born, that I, Kardama Muni, will leave the married life and take up the path of renunciation and Krishna consciousness. So Canto 3, Chapter 22 is titled The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti is divided into 5 parts. Part 1, verses 1 to 7. Swayambhava Manu glorifies Kardama Muni. Part 2, verses 8 to 14. Manu offers Devahuti to Kardama, mentioning his reasons. Part 2 title is Manu offers Devahuti to Kardama, mentioning his reasons. Part 3 verses 15 to 20. Kardama accepts the offer with a condition. Part 4 verses 21 to 27. Kardama marries Devahuti and Manu returns. Part 5 verses 28 to 39. Swayambhuva Manu's wonderful rule. Everybody got the parts?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, before you proceed, I have to seek one clarification from you.
Yeah.
The first question in chapter 21, what general principles Srila Prabhupada brought from the examples of Kardama Muni and Devotee and hearing the respective desires. I do not remember to have seen anywhere Devotee has got any expectation up to now. What I read, maybe it has missed my attention. But in 22, a small note is there that she desires good was age, character, and good qualities of a man, which Kardama Muni, while when Swayambhu Munu was discussing to offer his daughter, Kardama Muni, by his yoga, he gets the feeling that her desire, and then he agrees to marry. Am I right in understanding that?
So we'll discuss today that, actually we discussed last time also, that a wife is supposed to help the husband both in material activities and spiritual activities. Therefore, Devahuti does not have her own desires except to serve the husband. In the current chapter, we'll read chapter 22, that it's not just Devahuti, but Manu also glorifies that the qualities of Kardama Muni, that these are the qualities required for a husband. And of course, the qualities of Devahuti are also described as a devotee. Then it's a perfect match. Does that help you?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
Shivangi?
Prabhuji, just want to confirm part 5 is verses 28 to 39.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So the first 4 verses are pretty straightforward. Shivangi, are you able to read now? First 4 translations.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, text 1. Sri Maitreya said, after describing the greatness of the emperor's manifold qualities and activities, the sage became silent, and the emperor, feeling modesty, addressed him as follows. Manu replied, to expand himself in Vedic knowledge, Lord Brahma, the personified Veda, from his face created you, the Brahmanas, who are full of austerity, knowledge, and mystic power, and are averse to sense gratification. For the protection of the Brahmanas, the 1,000-legged Supreme Being created us, the Kshatriyas, from his 1,000 arms. Hence, the Brahmanas are said to be his heart and the Kshatriyas his arms. That is why the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas protect each other as well as themselves, and the Lord himself, who is both the cause and effect and is yet immutable, protects them through each other. Hare Krishna.
Very straightforward verses. Okay. Mother Jija, verse 5 translation.
Text 5. Now I have resolved all my doubts simply by meeting you, for your Lordship has very kindly and clearly explained the duty of a king who desires to protect his subjects. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. So, association point is explained in the purport that it is very difficult to withdraw from material objects, but one can easily detach from the material world by association with devotees. What was not possible in thousands of lives can be easily attained in one life if one meets a pure devotee. And Srila Prabhupada shows his humility that if Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master did not give order to Srila Prabhupada, then Srila Prabhupada would have been entangled and engaged in material duties. There's the humility of Srila Prabhupada. He's a pure devotee. He cannot be entangled in the material world. Mother Jija, read verse number 5 purport, please.
Purport. Manu described herewith the result of seeing a great saintly person. Lord Chaitanya says that one should always try to associate with saintly persons, because if one establishes a proper association with saintly person, even for a moment, one attains all perfection. Somehow or the other, if one meets a saintly person and achieves his favor, then the entire mission of one's human life is fulfilled. In our personal experience, we have actual proof of this statement of Manu. Once we had the opportunity to meet Vishnupada Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and on first sight he requested this humble self to preach his message in the Western countries. There was no preparation for him for this, but somehow or the other he desired it, and by his grace we are now engaged in executing his order, which has given us a transcendental occupation and has saved and liberated us from the occupation of the material activities. Thus, it is actually a fact that if one meets a saintly person completely engaged in transcendental duties and achieves his favor, then one's life's mission becomes complete. What is not possible to achieve in thousands of lives can be achieved in one moment if there is an opportunity to meet a saintly person. It is therefore enjoined in Vedic literature that one should always try to associate with saintly persons and try to disassociate oneself from the common man, because by one word of a saintly person, one can be liberated from the material entanglement. A saintly person has the power, because of his spiritual advancement, to give immediate liberation to the conditioned soul. Here, Manu admits that all his doubts are now over, because Kardama has very kindly described the different duties of individual souls. Hare Krishna.
Okay, very good. So Swayambhava Manu is glorifying Kardama Muni, and in the purports, some of it which we skipped, the duties are described at the Varnashram as well. Shalini, verse 6 and 7 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 6. It is my good fortune that I have been able to see you, for you cannot easily be seen by persons who have not subdued the mind or controlled the senses. I am all the more fortunate to have touched with my head the blessed dust of your feet. Text 7. I have fortunately been instructed by you, and thus great favor has been bestowed upon me. I thank God that I have listened with open ears to your pure words. Hare Krishna.
So Kardama Muni, although superior, hence he does not have to offer obeisances. Still, Kardama Muni offered obeisances to Swayambhuva Manu. And Swayambhuva Manu did not think that I am king, I am superior. Hence, Manu also offered respects. So, Kardama Muni never instructed Swayambhuva Manu. Rather, Kardama Muni only glorified Swayambhuva Manu. But Swayambhuva Manu still takes it as instruction, as if Kardama Muni is spiritual master of Swayambhuva Manu. In verse number 7 purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that all services are equal. One can achieve perfection by any of the services, just as Arjuna achieved perfection by fighting the war for Krishna's pleasure. Shalini, verse number 7, purport, second paragraph, which starts, Manu said.
Hare Krishna. Manu said that since he was advised and instructed by Kardama Muni, he was very much favored. He considered himself lucky to receive the message by oral reception. It is especially mentioned here that one should be very inquisitive to hear with open ears from the authorized source of the bona fide spiritual master. How is one to receive? One should receive the transcendental message by oral reception. The word karna randrai means through the holes of the ears. The favor of the spiritual master is not received through any other part of the body but the ears. This does not mean, however, that the spiritual master gives a particular type of mantra through the ears in exchange for some dollars, and if the man meditates on that, he achieves perfection and becomes God within 6 months. Such reception through ears is bogus. The real fact is that a bona fide spiritual master knows the nature of a particular man and what sort of duties he can perform in Krishna consciousness, and he instructs him in that way. He instructs him through the ear, not privately but publicly. You are fit for such and such work in Krishna consciousness. You can act in this way. One person is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by working in the deity's room. Another is advised to act in Krishna consciousness by performing editorial work. Another is advised to do preaching work, and another is advised to carry out Krishna consciousness in the cooking department. There are different departments of activity in Krishna consciousness, and a spiritual master, knowing the particular ability of a particular man, trains him in such a way that by his tendency to act, he becomes perfect. Bhagavad Gita makes it clear that one can attain the highest perfection of spiritual life simply by offering service according to his ability, just as Arjuna served Krishna by his ability in the military art. Arjuna offered his service fully as a military man, and he became perfect. Similarly, an artist can attain perfection simply by performing artistic work under the direction of the spiritual master. If one is a literary man, he can write articles and poetry for the service of the Lord and under the direction of the spiritual master. One has to receive the message of the spiritual master regarding how to act in one's capacity, for the spiritual master is expert in giving such instructions. Hare Krishna.
Continue. Finish reading the purport.
Oh, okay, Prabhu. This combination, the instruction of the spiritual master and the faithful execution of the instruction by the disciple, makes the entire process perfect. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes in his explanation of the verse in Bhagavad Gita, Vyayas Atmika Buddhi, that one who wants to be certain to achieve spiritual success must take the instruction from the spiritual master as to what his particular function is. He should faithfully try to execute that particular instruction and should consider that his life and soul. The faithful execution of the instruction which he receives from the spiritual master is the only duty of a disciple, and that will bring him perfection. One should be very careful to receive the message from the spiritual master through the ears and execute it faithfully. That will make one's life successful. Hare Krishna.
Questions, comments, realizations? Pretty straightforward.
Prabhuji, when one is inducted with the Janu, the Gayatri mantra is quietly said to induce the student. The initial stage, I think this is my realization, what we have to listen through the whole of the year. That is Karna Randharaya. Karna Randhara.
You are correct that spiritual master's instruction, not just the Gayatri mantra. So Gayatri mantra is for second initiated devotees, and the spiritual master will give the Gayatri mantra orally, directly in the ears. He will speak directly in the ears of the second initiated disciple. But its general instruction also is oral instruction. I mean, he will write also. I mean, there's no restriction that to write the instruction in an email. Generally, it is oral instruction. Okay, part 2 is verses 8 to 14. Manu offers Devahuti to Kardama, mentioning his reasons. So Swayambhuva Manu will give 6 reasons for Kardama Muni to accept Devahuti. Uncle, verse number 8, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 8. O great sage, graciously be pleased to listen to the prayer of my humble self. For my mind is troubled by affection for my daughter. Translation, purport. When a disciple is perfectly in consonance with the spiritual master, having received his message and executed it perfectly and sincerely, he has a right to ask a particular favor from the spiritual master. Generally, a pure devotee of the Lord or pure disciple of a bona fide spiritual master does not ask any favor either from the Lord or the spiritual master. But even if there is a need to ask a favor from the spiritual master, one cannot ask that favor without satisfying him fully. Swayambhu Manu wanted to disclose his mind regarding the function he wanted to execute due to affection for his daughter. Hare Krishna.
So as I explained earlier, it looks like Kardama Muni is spiritual master of Swayambhuva Manu. So generally, disciple does not ask for a favor from spiritual master. But when there is a need to ask for a favor, the disciple cannot ask for a favor unless the disciple first satisfies the spiritual master. So now Swayambhuva Manu will ask for a favor and give 6 reasons in verses 9 to 14. Dipanshu Prabhu, verses 9, 10, 11 translations.
Hare Krishna. Verse 9. My daughter is the sister of Priyavrat and Uttanpad. She is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. Text 10. The moment she heard from the sage Narad of your noble character, learning, beautiful appearance, youth, and other virtues, she fixed her mind upon you. Hare Krishna.
11 also.
Therefore, please accept her, O chief of Brahmanas, for I offer her with the faith, and she is in every respect fit to be your wife and take charge of your household duties.
Okay. So first reason Swayambhuva Manu gives is, my daughter is sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada, means is from a great family. Second reason, she is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. Third reason, when she heard from Srila Narad Muni about you, she fixed her mind upon you. Fourth reason, she will be suitable wife for you in every way for duties of household life. Now, Devahuti did not see Kardama Muni before. Devahuti had simply heard from Srila Narad Muni about Kardama Muni, just as Rukmani Devi wrote to Krishna that just by hearing about you, my material miseries are relieved, and thus Rukmani Devi fixed her mind on Krishna even without seeing. And Rukmani accepted Krishna as the husband. Everybody with me?
Only 2 daughters' name he has mentioned. There must be some significant, Prabhuji. He had 9 daughters, right? Swayambhu Manu.
No, Kardama Muni has 9 daughters.
Oh, sorry.
Swayambhuva Manu only has the 2 daughters, Devahuti and Akuti. Yeah, that was the name we covered in the previous chapters, one of the previous chapter. Okay. So in verse number 11, Srila Prabhupada explains Grahamedi and Grahastha. So those of you who are from batch 3 and 4, we covered this from another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 3. This Grahastha, Grahamedi is explained many places. It explains the same point here again. Shivangi?
Prabhuji, I don't think you gave us the 6th reason.
I have only given you 4 reasons so far.
Okay.
It will 5th and 6th will come up in later verses.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll repeat the 4 reasons. I don't know how you got the 5th one, but I will repeat the first 4. First is, my daughter is sister of Priyavrata and Uttanapada, means is from a great family. Second, she is seeking a suitable husband in terms of age, character, and good qualities. Third, When she heard from Srila Narad Muni about you, she fixed her mind upon you. Fourth, she will be suitable wife for you in every way for duties of household life. Shivangi.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and the two reasons will be coming up in next verses. Okay, Dipanshu Prabhu, read verse number 11 purport, please.
Hare Krishna. The word Medisu Karmasu means in household duties. Another word is also used here, Sarvat Manan Urupam. The purport is that a wife should not only be equal to her husband in age, character, and qualities, but must be helpful to him in his household duties. The household duty of a man is not to satisfy his sense gratification, but to remain with a wife and children, and at the same time attain advancement in spiritual life. One who does not do so is not a householder, but a Gramedi. Two words are used in Sanskrit literature. One is Grahast and other is Gramedi. The difference between Gramedi and Grahast is that Grahastha is also a ashram or spiritual order, but if one simply satisfies his senses as a householder, then he is Gramedi. For a Gramedi to accept a wife means to satisfy the senses, but for a Grahastha, a qualified wife is an assistant in every respect for advancement in spiritual activities. It is the duty of a wife to take charge of household affairs and not to compete with the husband. A wife is meant to help, but she cannot help her husband unless he is completely equal to her in age, character, and quality.
So the duty of the wife is not to compete with the husband, but must be helpful to husband in material and spiritual duties. Questions, comments, realizations? Shivangi.
Prabhuji, does the concept of divorce exist in the ancient times?
There is no example given in the scriptures about divorce from the ancient times. And Prabhupada has explained this point about divorce, that in current days, people get married because of sense enjoyment. And the moment the sense enjoyment is disturbed or not fulfilled, or somebody else can fulfill the sense enjoyment much better, that results in divorce. And therefore, here we read in the purport about the Grahastha life that the duty of the wife is not to compete, but to help the husband in both material and spiritual duties. And when can the wife help? Then the last line Prabhupada says in purport 11, that the wife can help only the husband when the husband is of equal age, character, and quality. And we discussed in the previous chapter about like disposition. So in previous times, the marriage used to happen not by the girl and boy selecting themselves, but the parents choosing the boy for the girl based on the character and quality, and they were therefore of like disposition. Hence, there was no real conflict, no need for divorce. But in today's times, why divorce happens is because sense enjoyment is the focus of getting married. But back then, sense enjoyment was not the purpose. Spiritual advancement was the purpose of getting a wife. And Kardama Muni is the perfect example for that. Shivangi?
Is it a concept, like, is it allowed now, Prabhuji, under ISKCON, if for some reason the devotee marriage didn't work out?
So do understand that ISKCON is an institution, and the devotees are still in the process of getting purified. Devotees still have conditioning. So just because they are part of ISKCON does not by default make them free of conditioning. They still have to go through the process of getting purified, and some don't follow the process properly, which results in ending in a divorce. Even initiated devotees, I have seen getting divorced. Why? Because initiation on itself does not purify you. It's a starting point. You still have to endeavor. So a conditioned soul, yes, he gets initiated, but then he doesn't continue the process properly, then he will continue his conditioning. And we'll cover this in Canto 3, the very last, second last chapter, chapter number 32, this point, that why devotees in ISKCON leave ISKCON is because they do not stay humble, they continue offenses, and because of these, it's very difficult to continue spirituality. Therefore, they leave. And this is a misconception in ISKCON also. Oh, I am initiated means I am qualified to go back home to Godhead. This is a misconception. Initiation is a starting point. Yes, you are given a starting point and a connection in disciplic succession. But if you don't endeavor, then you are not going to go back home to Godhead. Shivangi?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, very good inquiry. All right. So reason number 5 and the theme of verse number 12 is, it is not good to deny what has come on own accord by the will of providence. Gopal Prabhu, verse 12 translation and purport, and then verse 13 translation.
Hare Krishna, text 12. To deny an offering that has come of itself is not commendable, even for one absolutely free from all attachment, much less one addicted to sensual pleasure. Purport. In material life, everyone is desirous of sense gratification. Therefore, a person who gets an object of sense gratification without endeavor should not refuse to accept it. Kardama Muni was not meant for sense gratification, yet he aspired to marry and prayed to the Lord for a suitable wife. This was known to Swambhava Manu. He indirectly convinced Kardama Muni, you desire a suitable wife like my daughter, and she is now present before you. You should not reject the fulfillment of your prayer. You should accept my daughter. Text 13, translation. One who rejects an offering that comes of its own accord, but later begs a boon from a miser, thus loses his widespread reputation, and his pride is humbled by the neglectful behavior of others. Hare Krishna.
So whatever comes of own accord by providence, one should accept. This offer is coming on own accord by the will of providence because Supreme Personality of Godhead has given personal instructions to me, Swayambhava Manu, as well as to you, Kardama Muni. So Swayambhava Manu is saying, I heard from the Lord that Lord gave darshan to you and Lord gave direct order to you also, Kardama Muni. So in the name of taking sannyas, don't reject Lord's order because you also had desire to marry. And if later on you want to get married to someone else, and if they refuse, then it will be shame on you. Hence, please accept. Swayambhuva Manu says, I have also come voluntarily. And it is not good to deny what has come on own accord by the will of providence. So Swayambhuva Manu did not think nor say that I, Swayambhuva Manu, am great and that you, Kardama Muni, is a mendicant. But when we compare the wealth of Swayambhuva Manu and Kardama Muni does not have anything. Kardama Muni only has a small hut in the forest. But still, Swayambhuva Manu is saying that you, Kardama Muni, should not reject fulfillment of your prayer. Now a question may come up that how does Swayambhuva Manu know about Kardama Muni's prayers and that Lord gave darshan and Lord ordered? So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has explained that not only I, Swayambhuva Manu, know from the Lord, but I also heard directly that when directly from the Lord that you offered prayers to the Lord. Lord gave darshan to you, Kardama Muni, and then Lord instructed you. So all this, Swayambhuva Manu says, I know because I also heard this directly from the Lord. Hence, Swayambhuva Manu is saying that I know your heart, Kardama Muni, that you had this desire to enter into Grahastha ashram. Hence, you should accept my daughter. Knowing your inner desire, I have come here. Hence, don't conceal your inner desire from me. In verse number 13, purport, the last line, Srila Prabhupada says, in offering one's daughter to a person, the culture and quality are counted as prominent. Wealth and material considerations are not prominent. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. In verse number 14, Prabhupada explains two types of brahmachari. Chandran Prabhu, verse 14, translation and purport.
Hare Krishna. Text 14. Swayambhuva Manu continued, O wise man, I heard that you were prepared to marry. Please accept her hand, which is being offered to you by me, since you have not taken a vow of perpetual celibacy. Purport. The principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. There are two kinds of brahmacharis. One is called Naistika brahmachari, which means one who takes a vow of celibacy for his whole life, whereas the other, the Upakurvana brahmachari, is a brahmachari who takes the vow of celibacy up to a certain age. For example, he may take the vow to remain celibate up to 25 years of age. Then, with the permission of a spiritual master, he enters married life. Brahmacharya is student life, the beginning of life in the spiritual orders. And the principle of brahmacharya is celibacy. Only a householder can indulge in sense gratification or sex life. not a brahmachari. Swayambhuva Manu requested Kadama Muni to accept his daughter, since Kadama had not taken the vow of Naistika Brahmacharya. He was willing to marry, and the suitable daughter of a high royal family was presented. Hare Krishna.
Okay. So the sixth reason is you, Kartama Muni, have not taken vow of perpetual celibacy, and you have decided to get married. Questions, comments, realizations? Part 3 is verses 15 to 20. Kardama Muni accepts the offer with a condition. So from verse 15 onwards, the verses are pretty straightforward. There isn't much to discuss. Mother Chandra Aunty, verse 15, 16 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 15. The great sage replied, certainly I have desired to marry, and your daughter has not yet married or given her word to anyone. Therefore, our marriage accepting to the Vedic system can take place. Text 16. Let your daughter's desire for marriage, which is recognized in the Vedic scripture, be fulfilled. Who would not accept her hand? She is so beautiful that by her bodily luster alone she excels the beauty of her ornaments. Hare Krishna.
So normally Krishna is glorified about ornaments. We discussed in earlier chapters that Krishna is the ornament of the ornaments. But here Kartama Muni knows that Devahuti is also a devotee. Hence, the devotee can also be glorified, and it is not flattering. He's glorifying as devotee of Krishna. Mother Chandra Aunty continues 17, 18 translation. They're pretty straightforward.
Text 17. I have heard that Vishwavasu, the great Gandharva, his mind stupefied with infatuation, fell from his airplane after seeing your daughter playing with a ball on the roof of the palace. For she was indeed beautiful with her tinkling ankle bell and her eyes moving to and fro. Text 18. What wise man would not welcome her, the very ornament of womanhood, the beloved daughter of Swayambhuva Manu and the sister of Uttampa Pada, those who have not worshipped the gracious feet of the goddesses of fortune cannot even perceive her. Yet she has come of her own accord to seek my hand. Hare Krishna.
Very straightforward. That even Gandharva got enamored by Devahuti's beauty. Mother Jija, verse 19, 20 translation.
Verse 19. Therefore, I shall accept this chaste girl as my wife on the condition that after she bears semen from my body, I shall accept the life of devotional service accepted by the most perfect human beings. That process was described by Lord Vishnu. It is free from envy. Text 20. The highest authority for me is the unlimited supreme personality of Godhead, from whom this wonderful creation emanates and in whom its sustenance and dissolution rest. He is the origin of the Prajapatis, the personalities meant to produce living entities in this world. Hare Krishna.
So Kardama Muni says that I will accept Devahuti with one condition, that I will be with her till a son is born. Now, a question may be asked to Kardama Muni, that your father, Brahmaji, asked you to procreate, and Brahmaji did not ask you to take renunciation. Therefore, Kardama Muni's answer is that higher than Vanaprastha and Sannyas is the practice of bhakti. And that you, Swayambhava Manu, may be higher than me, Kardama Muni, but I have to accept the highest order of the Lord. So, therefore, Kardama Muni says that yes, I will get married to satisfy Brahmaji, but my purpose is not to enjoy life. My purpose is to satisfy Brahmaji, get an offspring, and leave. And that's exactly what Kardama Muni will do. And we'll discuss in upcoming chapters that Lord is himself present in his house as his son. And why does Kardama Muni leave will come up as a discussion in upcoming chapters. Questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So part 4 is verses 21 to 27. Kardama marries Devahuti and Manu returns. The verses are pretty straightforward. Shivangi, 21, 22, 23 translations.
Hare Krishna. Sri Maitreya said, O great warrior Vidura, the sage Kardama said this much only and then became silent, thinking of his worshipable Lord Vishnu, who has a lotus on his navel. As he silently smiled, his face captured the mind of Devahuti, who began to meditate upon the great sage. After having unmistakably known the decision of the queen as well as that of Devahuti, the emperor most gladly gave his daughter to the sage, whose host of virtues was equaled by hers. Empress Shatarupa lovingly gave most valuable presents suitable for the occasion, such as jewelry, clothes, and household articles in dowry to the bride and bridegroom.
Shalini, 24, 25, 26, 27 translations.
Hare Krishna. Text 24. Thus relieved of his responsibility by handing over his daughter to a suitable man, Swayambhuva Manu, his mind agitated by feelings of separation, embraced his affectionate daughter with both his arms. Text 25. The emperor was unable to bear the separation of his daughter, therefore tears poured from his eyes again and again, drenching his daughter's head as he cried, My dear mother, my dear daughter. Text 26-27. After asking and obtaining the great sage's permission to leave, the monarch mounted on his chariot with his wife and started for his capital, followed by his retinue. Along the way, he saw the prosperity of the tranquil seer's beautiful hermitages on both the charming banks of the Saraswati, the river so agreeable to saintly persons.
Pretty straightforward. Any questions, comments, realizations? Okay. So the last set of
Prabhuji, Prabhuji, in text 25, he cries, my dear mother, my dear daughter. He remembers both, is it?
So it described that that daughter can also be called as mother. It's described. Let me see if it's there in the purport. Let me check. It just says that sometimes father can address daughter as mother also. Don't think it's there in the purport. We had this discussion in the class. Let's see, it's there in the purport. Yeah, actually, it's there in the purport. Uncle, read verse 25 purport.
Hare Krishna. Verse 25 purport, the word Amba is significant. A father sometimes addresses his daughter in affection as mother, and sometimes as my dearly. The feeling of separation occurs because until the daughter is married, she remains the daughter of the father. But after her marriage, she is no longer claimed as a daughter in the family. She must go to the husband's house, for after marriage she becomes property of the husband. According to Manu Samhita, a woman is never independent. She must remain the property of father while she is not married, and she must remain the property of the husband until she is elderly and has grown up children of her own. In old age, when the husband has taken sannyasa and left home, she remains the property of the sons. The woman is always dependent either upon the father, husband, or elderly sons. That will be exhibited in life of devotee. Devotee's father handed over responsibility for her to the husband, Kardamuni, in the way. And in the same way, Kardamuni also left home giving the responsibility to his son, Kapiladeva, the son Kapiladeva. This narration will describe these events one after another. I am clear, Prabhu.
All right. Very good inquiry. Very good hearing with rapt attention. Okay. So we are now on part 5, verses 28 to 39. Swayambhua Manu's wonderful rule. Verses are straightforward. Dipanshu Prabhu, 28 to 32 translations.
Hare Krishna. Verse 28. Overjoyed to know of his arrival, his subjects came forth from Brahmavart to greet their returning lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Text 29:30. The city of Barishmati, rich in all kinds of wealth, was so called because Lord Vishnu's hair dropped here from his body when he manifested himself as Lord Boar. As he shook his body, this very hair fell and turned into blades of evergreen kusha grass and kasha, another kind of grass used for mats, by means of which the sages worshipped Lord Vishnu after defeating the demons who had interfered with the performance of their sacrifices. Text 31. Manu spread a seat of kushas and kashas and worshipped the Lord, the personality of Godhead, by whose grace he had obtained the rule of terrestrial globe. Text 32. Having entered the city of Barishmati, in which he had previously lived, Manu entered his place, which was filled with an atmosphere that eradicated the three miseries of material existence. Hare Krishna.
Devangi.
Prabhuji, would you happen to know today where this Barhishmati is?
It's not on this planet.
Oh, okay. Okay, Prabhuji.
All right. Okay, so the last verses 33 to 39. Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Text 33. Emperor Swambhava Manu enjoyed life with his wife and subjects and fulfilled his desires without being disturbed by unwanted principles contrary to the process of religion. Celestial musicians and their wives sang in chorus about the pure reputation of the emperor. And early in the morning, every day, he used to listen to the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead with a loving heart. Text 34, translation. The Swambhava Manu was a saintly king. Although absorbed in material happiness, he was not dragged to the lowest grade of life, for he always enjoyed his material happiness in a Krishna consciousness atmosphere. Text 35. Consequently, although his duration of life gradually came to an end, his long life, consisting of the Manvantara era, was not spent in vain, since he ever engaged in hearing, contemplating, writing down, and chanting the pastimes of the Lord. Text 36. He passed his time, which lasted 71 cycles of the 4 ages, that is 71 by 432,000 years, always thinking of Vasudeva and always engaged in matters regarding Vasudeva. Thus, he transcended the 3 destinations. Text 37. Therefore, O Vidura, how can persons completely under the shelter of Lord Krishna in devotional service be put into miseries pertaining to the body, the mind, nature, and other men and living creatures? Text 38. In reply to a questions asked by certain sages, he, Swambhava Manu, out of compassion for all living entities, taught the diverse sacred duties of men in general and the different varnas and ashramas. Text 39. I have spoken to you of the wonderful character of Swambhava Manu, the original king, whose reputation is worthy of description. Please hear as I speak of the flourishing of his daughter Devahuti. Hare Krishna.
Okay, Shivangi, the answer to your question about Brahmavarta and Barhismati is there in verse 28. So Shivangi, if you want to read 28 translation and purport.
Overjoyed to know of his arrival, the subjects came forth from Brahmavarta to greet their returning lord with songs, prayers, and musical instruments. Purport. It is the custom of the citizens of a kingdom's capital to receive the king when he returns from a tour. There is a similar description when Krishna returned to Dwarka after the battle of Kurukshetra. At that time, he was received by all classes of citizens at the gate of the city. Formerly, capital cities were surrounded by walls, and there were different gates for regular entrance. Even in Delhi today, there are old gates, and some other old cities have such gates where citizens would gather to receive the king. Here also, the citizens of Barhishmati, the capital of Brahmavarta, the kingdom of Swayambhuva, came nicely dressed to receive the emperor with decorations and musical instruments.
Does that answer your question?
So, it's a city. The capital is. So this is on Earth, Prabhuji. This is happening on Earth.
It's not on Earth.
It's not on Earth.
Yeah.
But I thought he was the ruler of the whole planet.
He's the ruler of the whole universe, not
Oh.
right? So Swayambhuva Manu is the first Manu, and he has his own planet. I don't think it describes where is that planet, but he's somewhere in the universe.
Oh, I see. Okay. I was thinking it was Earth this whole time. Okay.
Yeah, he has now come on Earth to get the daughter married.
Yeah, I didn't know he was ruling the entire universe. Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay, thanks, Prabhuji.
Questions, comments, realizations? Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 3rd canto, 22nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. So I will bring up on screen the revised schedule for the Srimad Bhagavatam class, and next Sunday there is no class. So as I already explained last time, that next Sunday 14th July is Rath Yatra. Rath Yatra is both 13th and 14th July. So there'll be no class on both days. For you all is no class on Sunday. I will send Srila Prabhupada lecture to listen to in lieu of the class. So why this is a revised schedule, that on 20th July, we welcome their lordships back. So I have to go for services from early morning. So yesterday at the call for the services, I did not mention. So I request you all to please come to the temple on 20th July and bring uncut fruit as an offering. So we'll be doing 56 plus offerings to the Lord. But you all cannot come early morning because only initiated devotees are allowed to do that service, and therefore I have to go early morning. But you all can bring fruit, and if you are planning to bring a fruit, come to the temple latest by 10:30 a.m. If you are not bringing fruit, you can just come for the service, say around noon time, and that should be okay. I mean, if you bring fruit, it might get offered at later time if you come later than 10:30. So that's the plan. If you all can please come, if it is possible. And because of that 20th July additional service, the Bhagavatam start at batch 3 and 4 is pushed back 1 week and will now start on 27th of July. So you all can please spread the word around for this. Start with your immediate contacts, and then mid-September, Bhagavad Gita class will start a new batch. So you can also spread the word around. I described yesterday that during these Rath Yatra times and during the upcoming festivals, there'll be a lot of new devotees coming to the temple. So you can introduce them to these upcoming new classes. Shalini can try to convince Swapna to join again together with Prerna and Pragya. So Shalini, Prerna and Pragya can have a conference call with Swapna. And there may be others also in your contact list. I'm just giving one example. Questions, comments, realizations?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Prabhuji, any specific route you would suggest? Otherwise, it will get duplicated. It is okay with you?
Doesn't matter. Whatever fruit you like, you can bring. Even if it is duplicated, does not matter.
Okay, thank you.
Shalini?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, this the batch time, Toronto time,
Seven separate.
it won't.
There's a separate batch 7 for India, but the time we can't see.
Yeah, we can't see the time, Prabhu, because this 2 to 4 won't suit Swapna, even if we talk with her. So
It's not visible on your screen?
no, Prabhu. The new batch, batch 7 for India, the time is not visible.
Okay, let me try to shrink, but it... Let me bring up this on screen. Now you can see.
India time.
So there'll be separate batch. For batch number 7, the India time is 3 p.m. India time, Sundays. So this batch number 7 is still subject to how many devotees join from India. If it's only 1 or 2, it will be too much for me to handle. It anyway is going to be too much for me to handle. So we'll see how it goes. If there are too many devotees from India to join, then I'll have to create another batch. And if I create batch number 7, then it will be Sundays 3 p.m. India time. Charlie?
Yes, Prabhu. So right now, then talking to Swapna, I don't know how much it's going to work, Prabhu.
So for Swapna, I'm saying to join the Bhagavatam, at least the overview.
Okay.
And simultaneously, you can also say that, okay, Bhagavad Gita is also starting again. Or she can continue Bhagavatam, whichever works. The intent is to get her back on track.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. So last week, some of you came for services and you learned few things you want to share with everybody for everybody's benefit. What all did you do and where all you all stumbled and what all did you learn? Dipanshu, Shalini, who else? Yeah, you two were there.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. For me personally, as earlier also, definitely I didn't bring verses for myself to memorize, but I was helping the others memorize Bhagavad Gita verses. But very often, the mind keeps, we stop that and the mind is thinking something else, then we bring back the mind so that, that process continues, Prabhu.
Yeah, it's a continuous process. You have to recognize that if you stop this activity, the mind and the material world will take over. What else did you learn, Shalini, Dipanshu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, while doing services, our mind was running here and there, but still somehow in the middle, I did manage to do services on the level of soul, but it was running here and there in between. So
yeah, very good. Yeah, so very good. You are able to observe your mind. So that's a very good.
Yes.
That's a very good space to be in, because once you are able to observe your mind is when you'll be able to control the mind. Okay, very good. You learned two important points at last Sunday.
Yes.
What were those 2 points you learned?
Prabhuji, about Dwarkadish Prabhuji.
Yeah.
That after being married, he's still following brahmacharya.
Yeah, okay, so that was okay. You would learn something specific also. Yeah, so that point is correct, that even after Dwarkanath Prabhu has got married, he is still continuing not to be entangled. So that's a live example of what we are discussing about Kardama Muni also. Same example applies in real life. Okay, you learned something important about I, me, mine.
Oh, yes,
Prabhuji,
Prabhuji.
that Dwarkanath Prabhuji never uses I. He talks
He
like
always uses
Dwarkanath.
Dwarkanath Das.
Das Prabhuji.
Yeah, so Madhajija heard this same in the other batch also. Shalini or Dipanshu, you want to explain what was the discussion?
It was like anything, Prabhu, any service, anything which is offered to him, he'll always refer. He won't say that I did this, I did that, I got this. He always says that Dwarkanath Das did this. So, Bhajana Kriya is the term which you had used, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bhajana Kriya, devotional service is not a mechanical task. Bhajana Kriya means doing devotional service with like-minded devotees. So we have to learn something. So that's what you learn. We studied in scriptures. I, me, mine is the problem. And Dwarkanath Prabhu is teaching us, how do you get out of I, me, mine? He will never say, I did this. He will, when I will ask him, even though I am saying I, because it is very difficult to come out of I, me, mine. I have many times myself asked him, who did this? And Dwarkanath Prabhu will respond, Dwarkanath Das did this. Even though he himself is saying, he won't say I did it. Right? So that's what we have to learn. It's a very difficult practice because we have been living with I, me, mine for 155 trillion years. Okay, very good. So you can start practicing. All right. One other thing you learned.
Prabhu, I just had a question regarding the same, what we are discussing.
Yeah.
So now I can't say I got the opportunity by Krishna's mercy. Prabhu, I got the opportunity, see, again I is coming, of making the garlands with fruits, Prabhu. So what do I say then?
Yeah, try whatever works for you. You can just say this is Krishna's mercy that you are able to do this. So understand that I, me, mine is not going to go away completely. You can try as much as possible.
I definitely take it as Krishna's mercy, Prabhu, but then I got this opportunity. How do I remove that is a question, Prabhu.
Yeah, so you can say that Shalini got this opportunity as Krishna's mercy. You can say, try it. Sometimes it may not work in the sentence, but you can try as much as possible.
Thank you, Prabhu.
One more thing you learned?
Prabhuji, about Aditi Mataji,
Yeah.
that she prayed to the Lord that we want to continue the services.
Yeah, so bhakti
Bhajan Kriya.
comes from bhakti is a live example that we were not going for services for quite some time. So Aditi Mataji prayed for all of us that let all these Bhakti devotees come back for services. This is bhakti comes from bhakti. Bhakti doesn't come from anything material. So it's a live example that devotees are there living according to scriptures. This is what bhajana kriya is. This is what devotional service doing in association of like-minded devotees is, that you have to observe and learn. It's not a mechanical task of cutting fruits and vegetables. It's more about how do you come out of the entanglement, come out of the anarthas. Very good. Last point. Dipanshu Prabhu and many other devotees from batch 5 got this 1 minute monitor template from me to monitor the sadhana for every day in 1 minute. Dipanshu Prabhu, you want to share with everybody?
Prabhuji, the template?
You can just explain.
Okay, so sadhana card is about like our everyday devotional services or like chanting, reading books. We can like keep a track of all these devotional practices that we do in a day. So like if we chant like 15 or 16 rounds in a day, we can track it on that sadhana card. It's basically a Excel sheet, and it also has a portion of the readings we have done in a day and the services we have done in a day. So we can track every day like the services we are doing for the Lord.
I will bring up the template on screen. If anybody is interested, you can also try to monitor. So basically, it's split in 4 components that you are tracking. One is chanting, then your own reading, then the lectures that you listen to, and about Bhakti Vriksha. So how the template is laid out is, say you say I'm chanting 16 rounds, and you say, okay, so I'll use today's day. Okay, I chanted 16 rounds, and it will be blank. So yesterday, say you didn't chant 16, say you only chanted 10, then it will show up in red. And later on, say you caught up to catch up. So it will show. What this will do is it will show you on a summary chart of what is going on. So if you have too many reds, so you need to address that particular component. And you don't have to worry about changing again and again. Say today you are chanting 4 rounds. The sheet will continue to 4 rounds forward. Then say from later on you change to 8 rounds, and going forward it will change. So it's built in, user friendly. And same way with the reading of the books, it's in 15 minutes. Say tomorrow you change it to 30 minutes, and going forward it will change to 30 minutes. Same way with lectures that you listen to from Prabhupada. And same with Bhakti Vriksha. For example, if you miss the Bhakti Vriksha class, say you didn't attend, so it will show as 0. And then you say, okay, you know what, I caught up the listening. You will add here. Okay, you will say, okay, what's my action plan? To listen, to recording. Missed, could be sick, could be a valid reason, could be lazy, could be traveling, whatever, if you're on a track. And all this will appear on the summary chart for what. So it becomes very obvious, like a visual for you, that where you need to address if there are concerns. And on the same summary chart, it comes in summary for the month also. So it doesn't matter for one day if you miss. But if you are missing it continuously, That's what you have to address. Questions, comments, realizations? And generally will only take 1 minute for you to monitor. Therefore, the title of the sheet is 1 minute monitor your sadhana. So every day you, for example, today, end of the day, you just say what all you did for the 4 blocks. I mean, you can monitor something different also for yourself if you have to. So I had created this sheet for myself many years back when my Guru Maharaj had asked me, monitor your spiritual endeavors. And I had created for myself. So for me, when I started the initiation process, it is mandatory for me to submit to my spiritual master on a monthly basis. So he has his own template. This template I had created for myself. My Guru Maharaj has his own template, which is somewhat similar. Questions, comments, realizations? Shivangi?
Prabhuji, I don't know about anybody else, but this is kind of anxiety inducing for me. At what point do you not get obsessed with filling these columns and then just, I don't know, focus on the essence? I think that's just me.
So,
yeah.
So why I'll tell you this. So my Guru Maharaj says, what gets monitored, your attention will flow there. So I had started this many years back, and this reading was what I was monitoring. The japa is okay. You will do your japa. Yes, I missed and I will try to catch up. This reading was what I was trying to monitor for myself, not on a day-to-day basis, but on an average basis on the monthly, whether my average reading time is increasing little by little. It doesn't mean that it has to be dramatically increased. It used to increase in small proportion, like 15 minutes became like 20, 25 minutes on an average basis. So it's not about getting overwhelmed, but it is about monitoring that if I am not doing my sadhana regularly, then I need to address it. Because if you are getting, like if you are chanting 4 rounds and every alternate day you are missing your target, well, that's what you need to address. So my Guru Maharaj says that unless you have this red in front of you, only when this gets monitored is when your attention will flow. Otherwise, you don't even realize that you are not doing your sadhana on a daily basis. It's not to get overwhelmed, it's just to monitor. And after a certain point, I stopped monitoring because my entire day was generally largely used for spiritual endeavors. Yes, I still have to submit mandatorily for my spiritual master now after initiation. But otherwise, I stopped monitoring beyond a certain point once I became steady. Shivangi?
Okay, Prabhuji, that makes sense.
And you are not submitting this to anybody. It's not that, say, if you get this template from me, that you have to send this to me. No, this is for you. It is not for me to micromanage any of your activities. It is for you, for your own endeavor, whether this is going to help you. Use it. If it is creating anxiety, then don't use it. As long as you are doing your sadhana is the intent.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Questions, comments, realizations? Are we okay to stop here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.